Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another evening, but on Nerding with 30. I am 30 and still gaming, or 30 NSG. If you're just noticing, we went live on both channels, so I had to end the other channel because we're not streaming on the main channel. A whole bunch of YouTube stuff on the back end. On today's show, this is going to be a very intimate group, right? This is people that have watched the Ahsoka series. It's more of a just a conversation, right? I'm a huge Star Wars fan. I used to cover Star Wars shows all the time. I was waiting for a Ahsoka show. I didn't want to do individual episodes each and every single week. So what I did was basically just stop cold turkey, and I wanted to wait for Ahsoka to come out, watch Ahsoka, see the entire thing of Ahsoka, and then just chat with you guys about it, right? I'm like torn between two sides here, right? I'm torn with Ahsoka because I'm a fan of Ahsoka, right? I'm a fan of Rebels. I'm a fan of Clone Wars. I am one of those fans that loves the original Star Wars, loves 4, 5, and 6, 1, 2, and 3. I loved the books, the animated series, all the stuff. Okay, so going into Ahsoka, I was like, I understand. I know where they're coming from, right? I understand what the Clone Wars show was. I understand where all that stuff was. I can't see chat. I gotta try to figure that out. Let me refresh and see if it comes up. Let me hold on. You guys over here. It's so hard to stream on two different things. All right, there we go. I see you guys. What's going on, Boo? What's going on, Jesse? Appreciate you guys hanging out, showing up, and having a conversation about Ahsoka. Right? I'm gonna be very passionate. Right? I'm gonna be very passionate. I liked a lot of things, but I really wanted to talk this out on because of how stupid things got. What's going on, Dolphin? Right? This is what I really wanted. Okay, I wanted to talk to a couple of you guys or gals about Ahsoka. Okay, the last episode really pissed me off because of all the stupid. It's more of stupid from not from a Star Wars point of view, from more of a filmmaking, storytelling point of view. Like how stupid. Yeah, this is going to be total spoilers. I'm going deep dive into it, Dolphin. This is more of a this is more of a therapy session than a review or anything like that. Right? It's more of a if you like Star Wars and I mean if you like the series, you haven't watched it at all yet. I don't want to ruin it for you. Go watch it. I don't want to skew anybody. If you liked it, you liked it. If you don't like it, you don't like it. I just want to have a conversation about it, right? They did some really stupid things, right? First of all, let's start off. Okay. And again, I've watched all the Clone Wars. I watched all the Rebels. I like the animated series. I've watched a lot of people that I watched the Neurotics. I watched As Heel versus Babyface. I watched just a lot of people that talk about it, and I see the Chatto, where they come from a point of view where they didn't watch the cartoons and they didn't watch Rebels or Clone Wars. They don't know any of that. They're just watching it and criticizing it from a just a viewer's point of view, like what the fuck is going on in the show, right? So let's start off, right? It's called Ahsoka, but Disney has a problem with naming shows and then following somebody else. Okay, Boba Fett wasn't his own lead in his own show. Okay, Mando, for the most part, Mando season 1 he was, but then season 2 came, and then season 3 came, and he's not even right. And I understand it's the Mandalorian, so it could be any Mandalorian. Okay, and now here we are with Ahsoka, and the show's basically about Sabine. And Sabine's character, okay, the actress, not personal, like I hate her or anything like that, did a terrible job. if you watched Rebels, okay, if you watched Rebels and you knew the Sabine character and then you watched her, I think she looks like her. I think there's moments that she like portrays what Sabine was, but it's like 11 years later. She's like 26, 27 now, and she's just like a little like spoiled, like, you know, I don't know. There's just something about her that's off. I love the character in Rebels, and now what they portrayed her 10 years later, I'm just like, I don't understand what's going on. Okay. Ezra. Okay. Ezra's arc. Okay. Oh, let me go back to Sabine real fast. I'm gonna be all over the place tonight, guys. I have no notes. I'm just kind of just going off the top of my head here, right? Sabine's arc in Rebels is like perfect, right? There's so much story there. But if you didn't watch Rebels and you just watched this show, do you know anything about Sabine? Do you know that Sabine came from a clan of House Vesla? Do you know that her mom was a leader? Do you know that her mom was a strong fighter? Do you know that Sabine was an Imperial at one point? She was training and she was part of the Empire. Do you know that she left the organization and became against them and became like a rebel? Not a rebel, like a rebel, because rebels, right? They weren't there yet. They became the rebels, but she left them. Did you know that they blew up her whole family? Right? Did you know any of this from watching the show? No. You just watch that she's a bad girl and doesn't like following rules, and that's about it. And that she's now a Jedi, or training to be a Jedi, which they never showed in Rebels that she was Force sensitive. She used the dark saber. She trained with cannon, right? But she was never Force sensitive. She was just a really, really good fighter because she's Mandalorian. Okay, she's really good with pistols. She's really good with swords. She's just really good fighter. Okay, at a young age. Why? Because of her family, because of the origins that she comes from. But you know nothing of that watching this show. Nothing. Clan Vesla, descendant of only canon. She is not a descendant of Vesla, though. She's a descendant of Clan Ren. Ren is part of Vesla. The mother never was a Vesla that changed her name to the husband's name, right? She kept her name because Ren was a more prestige family in that realm, like in that order. Okay, she was their family was part of Vesla, but she is not a descendant of the first Mandalorian Jedi. Right? What's going on, Quest? What's going on, 76? The problem is that the show's standing alone, right? I'm jumping to the show now, right? I'm going to jump back and forth. The show itself, if you watch Rebels and you watch Clone Wars, 7 seasons and 4 seasons, and you watch the show, you like it, right? You are a fan because you liked Rebels. You are a fan because you watch Clone Wars, and you know the backstory that's always happening already. It's built into if you watch those. But they did a terrible, terrible job telling a story to anybody else that didn't watch a total of 11 seasons, 7 seasons of Clone Wars and 4 seasons of Rebels. You have no idea. You have no idea what the goddamn whales are. You got no idea who Ezra is. You have no idea the world between worlds. You have no idea who Thrawn is. You have no idea why Thrawn. You have no idea about any of this. And during the show, they answer none of those questions. None of those questions. They didn't tell a story at all. Really? That makes it worse. Yes, she is not a descendant of Vesla. To being badass Mandalorian, not kidding. Good at the Jedi thing just yet. But here's the thing, right? Let's jump to the Jedi, right? What they're doing in this series, now obviously everyone has to die, right? And I don't mean that personally. everyone has to die because if they don't, it negates everything that what happens in 4, 5, and 6 and the 30 years, okay, where Luke was training Jedi to get to episode 7, 8, and 9, which we don't talk about here, okay? Because Luke was supposed to be the only Jedi, the last Jedi. That's why it fell on his shoulders to rebuild the whole Jedi Order, okay? But how do you do that? How do you do that when you have, I don't know, let's see. You have Cal Kestis. We don't know what happens to him, right? But he's technically alive in the series. We don't know if he's alive during this. This is 5 years after Return of the Jedi, right? We have Ahsoka, not a Jedi. Okay, we have Cal Kestis, not a Jedi. Technically, they're not Jedi, even though they are Jedi. They just weren't trained all the way to get to become a Jedi. Okay, we have Sabine now, who is now Force sensitive and becoming a Jedi. We have Leia, who's obviously also a Jedi, trained by Luke Skywalker. We have Balin. We have Shin. We have 17 different sisters from the what the hell are they called? I'm losing it now. I want to say Inquisitors, right? We have like 17 Inquisitors. Okay, so we have a shit ton of Jedi. Okay, Luke was supposed to be the Jedi and the most powerful Jedi. Well, by the end of the show, Ezra, who vanished, right? 10 years. That's why Ezra wasn't in 4, 5, and 6. That's why none of these, like Ahsoka, was in hiding or whatever. Okay. But now Ezra's back in. Now he's back in. And this takes place 5 years after Return of the Jedi. So now Ezra's in the world, and Luke's in the world, and Ezra's actually a trained Jedi, where Luke only has 6 years underneath his belt. They really did a bad job putting together a cohesive story. What was the goal? Find Ezra and stop Thrawn. Glad she placed the entire galaxy at risk for one person. Here's the thing. Here, yeah. Find Ezra. All right. Find Ezra. Hold on. Let's find the. Find Ezra. Stop Thrawn. Okay. Find Ezra. Stop Thrawn. Why are they moving super slow? Okay. Why are they moving super slow above the turtle people in this show? Their goal is to literally get to Thrawn and stop him, right? But yet they're going 2 miles an hour. Okay. They're going 2 miles an hour above the turtle people. Going where? What are they doing with them? They have no reason to be with the turtle people. Okay? Unless Ezra's fucking one of them and now he's family members and those are his children running around, they mean absolutely nothing. They mean nothing. Right? They should have gotten the ship, flown right towards the actual where Thrawn was, and blow up the ring. Mission accomplished. Right? Take the ship, fly towards the ring, blow up the ring, end of story. But no, there's got to be drama, right? There's got to be drama. Does Ahsoka really have to die? Well, in my head, okay, if you watched 7, 8, and 9 Quest, you know at the end when Rey channels all of the Jedi and you hear Ahsoka's voice, there's only two things that could be. At that time, which is much later, so she would be older. Right now Ahsoka's like my age. She's like 42, 45, right? In this realm right now at 5 years after, right? Because she left when she was like 17, 18, okay? That was 18 years before episode 4. So she was like 18, then it's 18 years later, so she's like 36. Let's say she was 18, 36. And then it takes place 11 years later, so she's like 47 maybe. Okay? So by the time Rey's alive and fighting in episode 9 where she channels and she goes, get up, Rey, or whatever the hell she said, I forget. Okay? She's either dead and talking to her, or she's in the world between worlds talking to her. That's as of right now, of all the information we have, right? Especially since Ahsoka right now is in a planet that is very force sensitive. Okay, hence why they have the family, the Marine, I forget what the Morai. How do you say the name? I forget. My brain's always shooting and missing. But you know, the father, the son, and the daughter, right? Where they are the force. That last scene, right? The last scene, where Balin is up on top of the thing here. Let me find it. No, they don't. Let me find it. I have it. I just got to see the wide shot. There it is. Okay. This is the Balin's standing on top of the guy's arm, right? This is the father of the Force. This is like the most powerful freaking person ever, right? So there's the son, who's like the dark side. Okay, he's the balance, and then this is the daughter, and she's the good side, right? Now, obviously, there's like representation here of she's destroyed or whatever. You know, he's still there. If you watch the Clone Wars, this guy, I'm going to be as generic as possible. This old dude, okay, wanted Anakin Skywalker to take over him, like his job, okay? Wanted to take over. So Anakin Skywalker, if you watch the Clone Wars, got taken into this realm, okay? And these guys were he was trying to say, you know, I want you to take over what I'm doing. I'm done. I don't want to do this anymore. Anakin's like, no, I don't want to do it. Okay. So we can assume, because I watched the Clone Wars, because I watched Rebels, that Balin is being called by the father. Hence why he's on the father's arm. And he's getting called by him to maybe take over his position. Okay. And then he could be the most powerful person, and then he can manipulate or do whatever, right? Okay. Yeah, this is in canon. Clone Wars and Rebels are 100% canon. They were started before Disney bought them. Clone Wars started in 2008. Rebels came in after, but 2008, and then went all the way up to, I think, 2014 or whatever, right? This is canon. All of this stuff is canon. But if you didn't watch Clone Wars and you didn't watch Rebels, you don't know anything that's going on. Okay. Embu says, when Ezra jumped aboard the ship and dressed up as a trooper, why did he not take off or take out the engine room or Star Destroyer? Can't fly if they can't. Embu, you're asking the questions that I have the exact same, like I'm asking the same questions, right? So let's jump to that, right? Let's jump to Ezra, right? First of all, why would Ezra? First of all, how did Ezra steal the ship from Thrawn? You guys don't know who Thrawn is. Thrawn is one of the most military masterminds ever to be in existence of military. Like, he's just 4 steps ahead. He fights people by knowing their culture and whatnot. Knows what their weaknesses are. Does lots of, like, he's playing 4D chess. Okay, in this series, Thrawn literally fucked up 5 times. Didn't care about losing the stuff, and he lost to 3 Jedi, right? Or I'm sorry, 2.5 Jedi. Technically no Jedi, because none of them are actual Jedi. Okay, but every time he sent someone out to them, they destroyed it, and he's like, oh, it's okay to lose the things like this. Like, that's not Thrawn. Okay. Thrawn was terrible. I love the actor. He was the actual voice of Thrawn in the cartoon, but you wouldn't know that unless you watched the cartoon. But I thought it was fine the way he looked. I would have picked somebody else, but I'm okay with the way he looked. But his demeanor and his character, just like I was like, what's happening here with Thrawn? I'm not scared of him, right? This man went toe to toe with Jedi. Like he knows Jedi have always been his weakness, okay, but he's like a mastermind. What's going on, Gritter? Hi, Ben, man. Okay, now Ezra, there's something deeper going on here with Ezra, at least in my head canon. Okay, Ezra's been stuck, got teleported away with Thrawn 10 plus years ago, 10 or 11 years ago, and Ezra went to that planet where they found him. Okay, that he's living with turtle people. Okay, and how did he escape from Thrawn the first time? They don't tell you. How did he, how did he survive this whole time? They don't tell you. What was happening with Ezra for 10 years by himself on a planet where he's running from his life from a guy has a huge army that's literally coming out for him, but they can't find him, right? So Ezra escaped, but yet they used the witches to find Ahsoka within 3 seconds, but they couldn't use that same technology or spell to find Ezra on the planet that they're on, okay? I don't know. I would be a little pissed if I was Thrawn that I got sent off to a planet that I can't get back to or a different galaxy because this kid did it to me. And now he's 10 years older, more experienced, more because he's probably been training as a Jedi on the most powerful planet where the Force is just extruding from the planet, right? Hence why there's temples there and whatnot. Yet we know nothing about Ezra. You know nothing more about Ezra if you watched Rebels than if you didn't watch. The only difference is you know who Ezra is because you watched Rebels. But if you watch this show, you're like, who the fuck is Ezra and what does he mean? Okay. Ezra is now one of the most powerful Jedi, okay, living. He's more powerful than Luke because Luke is not the Luke that we know where he becomes a master Jedi, right? He's got like 5 years experience to Ezra, who's been a Jedi for now 15, 20 years, right? And it says, and yes, the scene, Balin had to go there in order to see the mountain with the bright-ass light shining out of it. Yeah. Yeah. Which is the temple or whatever. This reminds me of Dragon Ball GT versus DBZ. DB. I don't know anything about Dragon Ball Z, so. Oh, you think the mother is calling, Jesse? Is that what you're saying? You think the mother is calling Balin? The more of the dark side? Because she's supposed to be like super dark. But they never introduced her. That's like fiction on top of fiction, right? Technically that's not canon, is it? They talked about her. The ship is full of good. We'll stick around. The reasons I won't explain. Right. And why didn't Ezra get in the costume? And then first thing to do is get into the engine room and destroy the engines. Take it out from within. Destroy all their ships. Right? Do something. Yeah, but you know what the crazy part is? That would you know that, right, Jesse and Gritter? Would you know that from what you watched in the show? That the mother is calling out to him? No. No. You wouldn't know. Right? And this is the problem, right, with the storytelling that they've done in this series, where they literally tell you nothing. You know that, right? Only because you watched other people that know the lore better than you, and they made videos telling you that's what's happening. Be honest now. You didn't watch that show and go, oh, the mother, who we've never seen, is calling out to him. Gritter, I didn't even know there was a mother. Do you see what I'm saying? So the headcanon is better than the actual canon. The headcanon that they made is better than the actual canon that they've done. In my professional opinion, okay, those of you that don't know, I've worked in the film industry since I was 17 years old. I was an actor. Okay, I went to work in the production department, production assistant. I went to the art department. I went to the gaffer department, like the lighting department. Right, I worked my way up through the camera department. I've produced things. I've directed things. Okay, I've done a lot of stuff about how storytelling. I've written things. I've done a lot of stuff. This is one of the worst fucking things I've ever seen on the way they tell a story. And the only reason people don't think it's bad is because they dropped those memory berries. Okay? Was it episode 4 and 5 in Ahsoka when they did the Clone Wars stuff? I thought it was great. I love the moments between Ahsoka and Anakin. And you're like, oh man, that's back in the Clone Wars when they were fighting. Right? I love those moments. I rewatched the Mortis arc, and they use the same lines in the Clone Wars in Ahsoka. Sure. But there's a whole arc. What's the arc here? You know it because you watch the cartoons. You know how many people watch those cartoons, Jesse? You know how many people watch those cartoons? Less than 2 million people. Less than 2 million people watch those cartoons. The young Ahsoka and Anakin was so good. Right. They're so good because, Gritter, you watch the Clone Wars? You watch Rebels? Right? That's why it's good. Right? For people that are just hopped into Ahsoka, right? Did they even tell a coherent story about Ahsoka? The only thing that you could tell if you didn't watch anything about Ahsoka, you didn't watch Mandalorian to find out who she is, you didn't watch Clone Wars 7 seasons, you didn't see her in Rebels, okay, you didn't watch any of the Mando stuff, you just watched this show, what can you tell me about Ahsoka? You'd be like, oh, okay, so she's a Jedi, I get it, right? Oh, Anakin was her master? When was that? Wait a minute. And then she is training this person? Who's this girl? Right? I'm confused. What happened? Oh, wait. Why is she upset at him? Wait, did she leave the Jedi Order? Right? They don't tell you shit. They tell you nothing. And all you need is like little lines. Yeah, but even with the backstories, you don't know why she did you know she left the Jedi Order? And why she left the Jedi Order? Anbu, I love Ahsoka's character. She's literally one of the best characters written in Star Wars. Right? She's literally one of the best characters ever written, but it's in a cartoon, and most people don't care or watch that cartoon. Just saying the word cartoon, people are like, they dismiss it, right? The Clone Wars is literally some of the best Star Wars that you could watch. And the way the episodes are, you're old enough, right? Did you ever watch the A-Team? You ever watch the A-Team? You know how the A-Team moved from one location to the next, right? And there was like these little stories. They stopped in a town to help this family out or help the village out, or you know what I mean? And then there was an arcing longer story, like why the A-Team was like running from why they always had to get out of Dodge because they were running away from people. And there was like this bigger story in between, right? It's the most simplistic story element that you could do. Each episode has its own contained story, and then there's a bigger story on the thing. That doesn't happen at all in any of the Star Wars shows. That doesn't happen in any of the Marvel shows. They don't have their self-contained stories. The A-Team was a cheesy show, but the structure of writing, of telling someone. So if anyone jumped into season 1, 2, episode 24, or episode 2, you didn't have to know the whole backstory of the A-Team or Knight Rider or Chips. You just watched the episode and you moved on to the next one, right? Because they had small stories inside the thing. Right? It's so frustrating. It's like basic 101 to like, okay. So now let's go back to this shot right here. Okay. Ezra, who was stuck on a planet for 10 years, now is the only one to get off, and he's back on the ship that he came in. Okay. How did he get off the ship? He stole a ship. Okay, great. He stole a ship. So you're telling me the man who's supposed to be feared amongst everybody, that has known who's on his ship, what's on his ship, accounted for everything on his ship, okay? This ship leaves his way. They don't have any idea that they're missing a ship, or a ship takes off from where they are. Why didn't they shoot it down? Why didn't they go after it? Why didn't they send TIE fighters? Why didn't they do anything? Okay. Then how does Ezra know where the forces are, right? How does he know where the good guys are? Second, why is he wearing a stormtrooper outfit while he's on the ship? Right? Why didn't they shoot him out of the sky? It's an Imperial shuttle. Why didn't they shoot? Okay? There was no banter back and forth. He was just being escorted. So how much time has passed since he warped in? How long was he on the ship for? They didn't find him on the ship. He just hid. He was just in a stormtrooper, pretending he was a stormtrooper, did his daily work, then stole a ship. No one asked any questions. Nobody came after him in any way, shape, or form. Yeah, one of my zombies. Well, no, they're not all zombies, right? They're not all zombies, but most of them are. Okay, but he comes off the ship with the helmet on. Why? You want to know a cool way it should have happened? Okay, he comes off the ship with the helmet on. These guys all have guns at it, and someone takes a shot. Someone takes a shot, and Ezra then uses the Force to pause the bullet, the laser, whatever, in midair. And then all of a sudden, Hera goes, "What?" And then he pulls the helmet off, and then it's exposed, right? Because there's not many Jedi out there. There's not many Jedi out there. Okay? That would have been a cool moment. But no. No. He walks off, and he's like this, and it's like, hey, I'm going to walk off with... Why don't you walk off? Why? It makes no sense. It makes no sense. How did you get here? Don't know. Right? How did he escape? Don't know. Why didn't they shoot him? Don't know. Right? How did he find him? Don't know. But it just all works because of the plot, right? The plot armor. The plot armor is the plot armor. That's what it is. And that's what I hate. I hate that it's plot armor, and we always got an gratuitous ass shot of her. There it is. Every episode that Hera was in, she got an ass shot. Got. Right? We got the Night Sisters, right? We don't know what these are. These could be the dead bodies that are going to get risen again. These could be all the Night Sisters that come back, right? This could be the army that he lost and he wants to bring him back, but maybe why can't they bring him back before? Don't know. Don't know. Right? We don't know anything. Right? Why are the shuttles? Hold on. Why are they floating on a ship above turtle people? Don't know. Why, right? Why did he send 2 TIE fighters? Okay. Why did he send 2 TIE fighters to come after him? Okay. Why? TIE fighters. Just 2. The only people that can stop Thrawn from making his goal are these 3 people with 1 ship. And he says, let's just send 2. Makes no sense. Right? But it makes sense for plot armor. I can make it a compilation, Critter. That's Ewan McGregor's wife, I believe. Okay. Why do they need to protect the ship from falling? It's literally, what, 7 feet off the ground? Use your landing gear. What? Right? We have to make it look like they're struggling with something, right? Let's use the Force. Okay. Okay. Why are the turtle people underneath the ship? Are they looking for shade? Doesn't look that sunny out. Okay. Why are they escorting the turtles places? We don't know. Don't know. Instead of holding your own ship, okay, up in the air, okay, why don't you use your Force abilities to pull those ships out of the sky? I don't know. Okay. And then the stupidest move ever. Okay. The stupidest move ever. Let me cue it up here. Okay. Is this right here? Okay. Sabine takes the ship and smashes it into the 2 TIE fighters. Now, I don't know if you know how this works. I know how this works. Okay. Their ships blow up. Your wings would blow up. Okay. But, right? So that ring would be gone. And then that one would also be gone. Okay. And then the ship crashes. Right? Just a minor scratch. Just a minor scratch. We'll be able to fix it by the end of the show. Okay. Okay. This is just one episode that made me lose all hope for Star Wars. I am so, like, I talked to Creature earlier today. He's like, you got to give Andor a shot. I was like, I don't know if I can, man. Okay. Because I don't care. I know all of this leads to 7, 8, and 9. Right, I don't need a lightsaber. Builds a lightsaber. That's right. I don't need that. Let me build a lightsaber. Okay? He didn't need a lightsaber, and boo, because plot. It's plot. Okay? And I know I'm coming across as like a grudged old man, like I'm bitter, okay? But this is just stupid. This is just stupid. I love Star Wars. But the people in charge of Star Wars, it's not that what I wanted to do, it's what they're doing is absolutely ridiculous. Ridiculous. All right, well, I destroyed the ship. No, I haven't talked to Lono about it. Right? Lono also didn't watch Clone Wars and Rebels. He watched a little bit of Clone Wars, and I don't think he's watched the whole thing. Right? So people that didn't watch it and they're just watching for lightsabers. I'm excited. Oh, Anakin. right? Like those people are excited because they don't know what is happening. Right? And every time we see Thrawn, we lost some people. Let's send out a party, right? I don't know if you guys know this, but in the real world, and I know this is a fake world, but in our world, if my car breaks, I can't fix it if I don't have parts to fix it with. Now, if I'm in the middle of a desert, okay, I take my car, I happen to hit a rock, it breaks my axle, or rips off my front hood, okay? Where am I getting the new hood from? Where am I getting the stuff from to fix the stuff that you need? Just taking a welding gun and welding stuff together doesn't just fix things miraculously. You know what I mean? You have to have something to actually fix stuff with. And I get it. The show. But isn't it convenient that he fixes the ship just in the nick of time so they can jump off the edge to land on the thing? Critter says, not gonna lie, Ahsoka's my favorite Disney Plus so far. I'm still here to listen to 30 roast my show, though. Well, I appreciate it, Critter. The episode when they where dead is space, and they rewire something, and the ship fixes all the damage on the outside. Yeah. Or how about when she in that episode where she flips in space, like they're shooting at her instead of the ship? Why? Plot armor. Filoni sacrificed storytelling and plot conveniences for cool sequences. My biggest peeve with Sabine, who showed zero force potential, but launched Ezra onto the ship because he needed it. Well, Enbo, you just keep tossing them up, and I'll hit them out of the park, right? Okay, let's make comparisons to. Let's make comparisons here. Okay, let's make comparisons to Sabine. Where's the spot? Okay. Let's get the spot here. Okay. 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 Let's talk about this. Okay. I'm cool with her learning the Force, right? Let's just say I'm okay. She never showed any Force sensitivity in Rebels. 10 years later, they mention it kind of that she trained with Ahsoka, but the robot says, right, that she's the worst. She has no ability whatsoever, right? But of course, everyone now in this world can be a Jedi. Everyone has the Force running through them. So anybody at any moment, if you just do this long enough, it'll just come to you, right? It'll just come to you. Okay. But she showed zero, just like you said, zero progression through the whole thing. She tried to move the coffee cup on the table. Didn't happen. Then she tried to do something else when she was fighting Shin again. It didn't happen. Then when they're riding, this is fucking great. When they're riding to the place as they're getting bombarded with the shots, right? Action sequence. Oh, I'm excited. Hey, Ezra, help me with the Force. First of all, Ahsoka doesn't need help to open up a fucking door. Okay? I hate to tell you. Ahsoka could just do this, and the door would have opened. Okay? But then Ezra helped us out, and then she puts her hand out. What are you doing? That's like me doing right now. Right? I'm using the Force right now. I have the requirements. Are you ready? I have a lightsaber, and I think I can. I am a Jedi. Okay? I'm a Jedi. Okay. Luke Skywalker. Let's compare now. Let's compare. In New Hope, Luke Skywalker didn't have any abilities. Okay? In Empire Strikes Back, which takes place 3 years. 3 years. Okay? Where he trained, and he's stuck in the cave, and he's trying so hard to pull that lightsaber out of the snow to save his ass because he's in that moment, right? Sabine showed no powers, barely trained, couldn't move a coffee cup, and now she's throwing her friend across the world, okay, this gap to get him up there. Okay? Amazing. Stunning and brave. Why wasn't it in his chat today? I'm never in the chat. We didn't have a show today because I think his family came in. Last week, I went out of town, and that's why I didn't do the show last week. And then this week, I believe his family came into town, and then we didn't do a show. But 30, this show officially says F you to the midichlorians. Yeah. The reason is that I'm okay if she gets powers. I'm okay if she gets powers. I'm okay if she becomes a Jedi. But can you at least tell me a story and show her, like, progress through? They did, like, the speed version. Through, like, no signs, 7 episodes, 8 episode. All of a sudden, she went from not being able to do anything to now all of a sudden doing it. The worst said from the robot was, been around for 10,000 plus years, helping younglings on their journey, and it doesn't forget shit, and he knows what he's talking about. Yo, no, people don't think he knows what he's talking about. He's a robot. That's what they tell you. He's a robot. He doesn't know. Okay. What's going on, Brian? First, she pulled a lightsaber and went directly into her hand. First time. Oh, I totally forgot where she stabs the thing. Right before this was a lightsaber pull like Luke did, and then stabbed the guy in the stabbed the zombie in the head. And I have a question: why are they running away from zombies? Why are they running away from zombies? Right? They literally have zombie weapons in their hands where they can decapitate everyone that's there. Do you know what I know? I know what it is now. I know why she got the power so fast. Are you ready? Paid microtransactions. She paid microtransactions. That's what it is. She pre-ordered. She pre-ordered the game ahead of time. She pre-ordered the Force, and it already came with some bonus points, and she stacked them in. That's what it was. That's what it is. Then she put the Force up a couple of levels. She pre-ordered. What it is. I look, and I'm not one of those people, Brain, that's like, this is woke or anything like that. I'm just talking about the circumstances that they put on storytelling wise, right? I'm baffled. I'm baffled. The fighting right here with the sabers. They're walking up the stairs where these doors, and to stop the zombies from coming through, they knock the doors down. Why is Thrawn leaving the tower? The one spot to get to the ship is through the tower. Okay? The only way up there, because they don't have a ship, okay, all they had to do was climb this tower. Why didn't they shut the doors? Why didn't they shut the doors? Plot. That's why. She got the premium edition. Came with her with the right. She paid at the end Rebels, and was also featured in the show. Yeah, she spruced up. Right. She didn't have the time to do this, so she paid. She paid. It's pay to win. Okay. Look, and I love I love Rosario Dawson. I think she's a great actress. I love her. Okay. But the choreography with the weapons and stuff, you guys might like it. I want you to go watch. I want you to go watch some kung fu stuff. I want you to go watch episodes 1, 2, and 3 with saber fights, and then I want you to come back. Now, I will grant you 4, 5, and 6 when they filmed in the 70s and early 80s. They didn't have the choreograph that they had in the 90s and 2000s. Okay, we're past that. We're in 2023. Okay. Maybe they took it where they're like, well, Luke fought this way, so we're gonna fight this way as well. But the lightsaber matches were bad. Choreograph was terrible. Okay. Here's the, speaking of the ring, we're getting there. Okay. While they were running into, actually, you know what? It's farther back this way because they actually see it. Okay. This whole thing could have been over. This whole thing could have been over. Why didn't they use the Force right here to not only pull the thing down or take a blaster out? Sabine has a blaster. She could shoot the ring, right, and blow it up. Ahsoka or Ezra could Force leap up in the air, land on it, take the saber, and slice it down the path. They could have just jumped on the ring because they wouldn't have shot it. Okay. But I have a question on top of all that. Why did the ring come into the atmosphere? Why didn't the ring stay up in space where it was and the Star Destroyer go up to them? Don't know. Don't understand. Right? I don't get it. Just got to stop Thrawn. That ring is his escape. But yet they had to climb the tower to do what? Disney doesn't like zombies. They're ghouls. Whatever. Yeah, but the ring in the last episode, Sarge, was out in space. That's where it was. And then they hit a little button and they called it to them, and it came into the atmosphere. Now, to be fair, 30, I like how the saber styles in the show is more of an homage to the saber style in episodes 4, 5, and 6. Oh, I get it, Gritter. Okay, but what I'm telling you is it was still choreographed bad, right? I get it. Maybe they're going for the Luke Skywalker type of saber fight, but I would show you the motion, okay? But I'll get taken down for showing you video, okay? But when she just, it's like in slow motion, man. It's in slow motion. The bad guys in the show, Morgan Elsbeth, okay? That's not a scary boss. Thrawn didn't lift a finger, right? Didn't lift a finger. It's acceptable. It's acceptable. We'll send these guys out. Oh, and can I tell you, here's my biggest pet peeve with Star Wars, Disney Star Wars. Everything. Every goddamn set is a goddamn circle. Everything is a goddamn circle now because they're filming on the goddamn volume. Everything is a goddamn circle. No matter what you do. When the last episode where they fought with the turtles, okay, the Ninja Turtles, okay, and they had to surround them. They're like, circle up. Why did they do that? They're filming on the volume. Everything's a goddamn circle. Do you think it's because of the stagecraft set? Yeah, it's because of the volume. Everything on this damn thing is a goddamn circle. Look at even this set when they come out, when they start fighting, it's a circle. Wait, there's new turtles? Yeah, the turtles, the Ninja Turtles that they had. Right? And they're slicing people, and you look at this, you go, man, it was cool. Man, Ahsoka was badass. And I think, look, and I fantastic, right? There's lightsabers, people go lose their mind. They show Anakin, people lose their mind. They're just excited for those things. No, I'm making fun of it. Now people that didn't watch Clone Wars or Rebels, knowing about the animated dead come back, this is a shocker. You're like, oh god, they brought them to Star Wars now. Well, they did that years ago. They did that years ago. Okay. Then there's this part where, let's see, they jump off. They're like, "Are you ready?" Yeah. "Are you ready?" And they just leap off. They leap off the tower because the ship that came there just so happens to show up just in the nick of time. And then they just jump in. They just jump in. Right? Cuz why? Because of plot. Plot armor. And then they're coming after this. Do they not have weapons? Did I miss it? Did they say they didn't have any weapons? Right? We can't get close enough to them. Were there weapons damage in the crash that Sabine did? Is that why they couldn't shoot at the actual thing? They were trying to catch up to him. I don't know why they were trying to catch up to him. Were they trying to get into the ship so they could teleport as well? Right? Like they were there. They could have easily look how close they are. Right? Look how close they are. Hold on. Let me I gotta find the spot. Look how close they are. Why didn't you shoot a gun? You have weapons on the ship. All you gotta do is take out the ring. That's all you gotta do. The only goal was to stop Thrawn. That was the only goal. they failed on the goal. Yeah, nothing worked, just the engines. Here's the thing. I have a question. Stealth, I have a question. Okay. Force, lightsaber, pistol. They've been on the wing of the ship 15 times now throughout the series. Just walk outside the ship, take a gun, and start shooting at the engines of the ring. All you gotta do is, injure it. That's true. If the weapons were down from the crash, then why didn't they use the weapons against the TIE fighters? Oh, right. Must have forgot how to shoot. Yeah. So wait, I have a question. Were the weapons also broken in the back of the ship as well? Shit, if the weapons didn't work, why not just ram the thing? Well, that's what they were trying to do. In defense there, they were trying to catch up to it, which they couldn't. Okay? But I just don't know why they were going for the Star Destroyer and not the ring. So just everything was broke, right? They just had a ship now. So there's no weapons whatsoever. No guns, no missiles, nothing. I just I'm so frustrated. All right, let me. I have a couple notes here. Let me see if maybe we already talked about some. All right, so I got the dialogue is bad. Dialogue's bad. There's no story, right? No story. The people that didn't watch Clone Wars or Rebels are entertained, but there's no actual story for them to actually know anything about. Let's see. Lots of fan service. Okay. Acting was subpar for majority of the characters. The sword fighting, in my opinion, the choreograph was bad. Thrawn was wrong and failed every time he did something. Every single time he did something, he failed against them. I asked, why are they flying above the turtle people? We don't know. Why did the TIE fighters not move when they were getting, coming at them? Let's see. According to Mando show, the planes and stuff can just float in midair. So why are they coming at them? They could have just moved to the side. They could have one from the back, one from the front, but who knows? Okay. Crashing into the ship, into the TIE fighters would have blown up both ships, all three ships. Let's see. Why did the ring come back to the ship? The Force is dumb, right? The Force is dumb. Everyone now can do the Force, so no longer it's no longer special. Everyone can do the Force, so it's just dumb now. Let's see. We talked about the hallway doors. Balin, right? Probably the coolest character in the show, or more interesting character, I should say. And yet we know nothing of the character. Nothing of the character. Know nothing of his apprentice either. We know he's on some sort of mission, but we don't know why he's on that mission. It's never answered. And now Ray Stevens is he died in real life. Okay. R.I.P. Okay. And we don't know what's going to happen. So they're going to have to recast that character. Okay. How did Ezra steal the shuttle? And they switch places. This is the analogy I said the other day. I said, those of you that want to know how the show ended, put a chessboard, set it up, put the white pieces on one side, black pieces on the other, light side, dark side of the Force, and then just switch them. Just rotate the board, and that's how the show ends. So Ahsoka and them were over here, and Ezra and Thrawn were over here, and now Thrawn and Ezra are over here, and then they're stuck over here. Okay, that's the whole thing, and none of this makes sense because there wasn't a story. There's no story. If someone can explain to me what the story was, then I'm not talking about if you watched Rebels and Clone Wars now. Just tell me what the story was in Ahsoka. Have you real about the show? It was butt cheeks. Absolute butt. If you listen to me the entire time, I've been live for what, an hour? Nothing but bitching about it. Gritter says I kind of feel like Balin is the biological father of Shin because they the same hair color. No, he's not. She's not the daughter of him. Balin sounded like also being tried to repetitive cycles of light and dark clashes. The story was twofold. Get Ezra and stop Thrawn. First of all, wasn't it a little convenient? I mean, I don't know, Gritter, how fast you can find something. But if I went to a galaxy that, one, didn't even know where we were going, and the space whales took us there, and then two, to land on a planet and imagine that Ezra escaped from Thrawn, and Thrawn has been looking for Ezra for 10 years, and he's literally like 100 yards down the road, living with turtle people that constantly move. And Sabine found him. And the reunion was the most lame-ass thing ever. It was like, play it cool. I came across the galaxy to find you, and I found you, and I'm like, hey, I would have been like, holy shit, right? Like, it would have been something bigger than what that was. That was like they saw each other last week, not 10 years ago. 76 says it's about space chicks with light sticks getting things done. I would watch that. If that was it, I would watch that. The story was fan service, nonsensical, left more loose threads than 10-year-old carpet being used in a hobo's bed. Yeah, it was bad. Ezra could turn invisible, or Thrawn didn't want to harm the citizens of the village. It's so ridiculous. It's so ridiculous. They did set up possible dark side journey of Sabine in the future. Well, Gritter, it would make sense that she would turn to the dark side, right? The Empire literally killed her whole planet. They destroyed everybody, right? They shoved her out. She left the Empire. They killed her family, the whole planet, right? She's angry, right? She's an angry Mandalorian. So you know what they're doing. All of this whole thing is leading up to the Avengers Endgame for Star Wars, right? So when they do the Heir of the Empire, okay, they're gonna bring all these people together. Everyone that you saw. Boba Fett, Mando, Bo-Katan, Sabine, Ezra, Hera, Ahsoka. They're all going to join forces, and they're gonna fight, and that's how they're gonna. It's going to be the end game of Star Wars. Yeah, exactly. Okay. Do you have any evidence? We don't have any. Yes, you do. You got a shit ton. This is taking place the same time as Mando. Right? This is taking place the same time as Mando. I have a question. Preacher brought this up when I was talking to him earlier. Does Ahsoka know that Anakin had a redemption story? Right? Because at this point, the story of when the world between worlds and she's fights him or whatever. Okay, that's like a lesson, the last lesson from her master, right? But she knows he's Darth Vader. But does she know that Darth Vader turned back? He turned back to Anakin at the end because of Luke. I would assume yes, because she's already met Luke, right? She's already met Luke at this point. She talked to Luke. You would assume they would have a conversation about this, right? Because Mando took place before this. It can't take place after this because she's stuck on a different galaxy now. She should, as she met Luke and Mando, but I guess not. Right, but chronologically, you would assume that they had this conversation. That would have been a good scene to have, right? I'm just so disappointed. I'm disappointed in how a company could take the most famous IP on the planet when they bought it and completely burn it down. Does this take place prior or before Mando Season 3? This takes place after. So here's the weird part. Episode 1 of Ahsoka takes place early on because it's the ending of Rebels. In Rebels, at the end of Rebels, Season 4, Sabine's telling the story of what's going on, and she's looking at the painting, the mural, and then Ahsoka comes in and says, "We're gonna go find Ezra," right? And then at that moment, at Rebels, that's already 10 years in advance. The very end of Rebels, that's 10 years in advance, and then that takes place here. Now, when you see Ahsoka on that moment, she's already fought Morgan Elsbeth, right? Because she fought Morgan in Season 2 of Mando. That's that scene where she went to that Japanese-looking city, or whatever, and then fought her. then captured her, and that's who Balin bailed out in the beginning here. She knows who Grogu is, knows about Luke Skywalker, says, you remind me of your father. You would assume they would have a conversation there, right? It takes place the exact same time. One thing that makes it all the shows pointless to me is that we know how it all ends 7, 8, and 9. Yeah. I think she still blames herself for him turning to the dark side. Younger Ahsoka thought her leaving to the Jedi Order is also Anakin Skywalker vulnerable and the dark side. But this is the point I'm bringing up, Gritter. If Luke Skywalker tells her that, Anakin turned back to the good side, then she would know that the Force Ghost, and that's the Force Ghost that basically fought her, right? She would know. She would have to know. Are we allowed to speak about stuff that went during Mando Season 3? Yeah, you could speak of anything you want. You could bring it up. Yeah. Force Ghost Anakin later shows her he was also destined to become Vader. Sure. But at the same time, she shouldn't have this. Like, that whole scene was to let it go, right? That it wasn't her fault. It is what it is. Or it was what it was, I should say. And that you need to let it go. This is how it is. And she's like, I know what I need to do now. I don't want to be the master that you were to me at this point. I don't want to abandon right? Because she walked away. But he still believed in her. Okay? So much so that the end of, I'm getting chills just thinking about it. The end of when he shows up at the very last scene of Clone Wars, where he's already Darth Vader, he gave her the sabers. She leaves the sabers on the ground, right? And he shows up in that scene right there. I was like, that's an awesome arc. Like, Anakin and Ahsoka's arc is so good, okay? And it fills in the gaps because it was before episodes 4, 5, and 6. It's like this whole world before. But they try to put Ahsoka into everything now. She's the thread that is going through everything. Filoni has tendencies to forget, sorry, Filoni lovers, what he writes and what he can prove it. The clone has Padme, was a fellow Rhodian senator whom Paul's uncle. He died in the episode and came back. Yes. Yeah. Luke said, Dad told me it's your fault he turned. Do the New Republic ignore Moff's Beskar armor stormtroopers? Did he say that? I don't remember that. Did he say that in Mando? Well, at this point, right, the New Republic ignores Moff's Beskar. They know about the clones, right? They would have to. It was reported to I don't know the guy's name, the Asian guy, that the X-wing pilot, right? He knows about the stuff. Yeah, it's just frustrating. It's frustrating for so many reasons. I wanted to like this show. I did. I went in and I do like the show, right? I like the show because I saw Clone Wars and Rebels. But I don't love the show. And I think it was a poor attempt because of all the problems they had in the show. At the end of the day, it was just fucking filler. And you could have not watched the show and been okay with what's going on. Right? And that's the frustrating part. It's like all of these Disney Plus shows for Marvel and for Star Wars are just filler. And the worst part about the filler is they're fucking up the lore of the original Star Wars. And all of this stuff And all this stuff, like you said, leads to 7, 8, and 9. No matter what happens, 7, 8, and 9. We did reviews, right? I did every single episode of Mando episode season 1, 2. We didn't cover 3 because I was done by then. Okay. But we did Boba Fett's show. We did the Obi-Wan show. You can go watch those on this channel as well, right? And I brought up stuff years ago that I said they're going to bring the world in between worlds, or the world between worlds inside this. Okay, I said Ahsoka is going to be this moment where they could technically erase everything that happened and change stuff that's going on. And now, at the end of season 1, we know nothing more than we knew before. Okay, just that Thrawn's back. Okay, great. Okay, how is she getting back? How are they getting back? There's only 2 ways I can think to get back. Okay, one, Ezra says, "Hey, this is where I was." Okay, I looked at the plans on the on the Star Destroyer, and the coordinates were at here. Let's go pick them up, and they go get them. Or they ride the whales again, or they go through the world between worlds. But the world between worlds is not time travel, but it is a gateway. And they're on a planet. They're on a planet where the Mortis are. So, or something of them are there. Yeah, 2 X-Wing pilots during the hyperspace jump. Does the New Republic think they just forgot how to fly? Yeah, it's there's so many loopholes, or they don't get back and they fight the evil on the planet. Sure, which I would be okay with stealth because everyone has to die. Everyone has to die for Luke to be the last person to train people, right? To be the last person to train the new Jedi. And right now, because it's 5 years after Return of the Jedi, and I believe Ben Solo, according to canon, would be like 4 years old. 4 years old? I think he was born 1 year after Return of the Jedi. Right? So Ben doesn't start training until he's like 10. He's got 5 more years before he takes him as a student. Isn't 10, 11, 12 announced? No. Not that I know of. They had a Rey movie. They had a Lando movie. They have the Acolyte show. They have a bunch of stuff. But not that I don't think they have a 10, 11, 12. The Force of the New Republic, my money is on the Force. The whales go there to die. I think that's one-way trip. 30, I blame Disney wanting the death throne of Netflix. Or the throne. Death throne. The throne. Netflix is my bad for reading. As a top streaming service for all the Disney Plus shows, Disney said that its intellectual properties with Star Wars and Marvel was enough to top Netflix. Well, they're raising the price double, right? They're raising the price double. I wanted to have this stream just because I wanted to kind of like get it off my chest, right? Just I wanted to talk about this because obviously we talk about games a lot. I'm a huge Star Wars fan, man. I love Star Wars. I could literally start a whole Star Wars channel and just talk Star Wars. Okay, I love Star Wars, and I'm upset as a 45-year-old man that grew up with Star Wars and loves Star Wars. I love Star Wars games. I love Star Wars books. I love Star Wars films and television shows. I'm so upset. This is something that I love, and I'm just pissed off on how I feel, right? I feel like the people that are making this stuff don't give a shit about it. Right? Like Kathleen Kennedy coming out and saying that we have no books to pull from. There's no literature to pull from. And yet we watch stuff like this, okay? And voila, all of a sudden, they're pulling stuff from the books. They're cherry picking things from the books that weren't, from the from the dark side and stuff, right? They're cherry picking these things from the legacy stuff, and they're making it and they're changing it to do their own thing, and that's what pisses me off. It's like the stuff is written, and the stuff that was written was really good, and now you're putting shit in front of us. And I'm more upset with the production quality than I am about the actual like characters and stuff. Right? They just make stupid decisions. And I know people look at this and they don't care. They're just like, I'm entertained, and I get that. And the reason I'm upset is because I'm passionate. I'm a passionate fan. I'm not a fly-by-night fan. I just don't like Star Wars to like Star Wars, right? I love Star Wars. You don't have to creatively at Disney create a storyline in the universe to make it awesome. I'm almost. I really want them to just stop. I want them to stop. Go do Old Republic. Go do High Republic. Go do anything. But just stop. Stop taking the characters and destroying everything from 4, 5, and 6 because you want to position, right? Because I truly believe that Sabine is probably, instead of redoing Star Wars and making like Leia and Luke again and Han again, I truly believe they could just. Ahsoka is Obi-Wan. Okay? Sabine is Luke Skywalker. Ezra is the Han Solo character. Okay? Like, this is like the new going forward because there's 30 years or 25 years from now to episode 7. And what happens in that time frame? Well, Thrawn is the new Vader. Is the new bad guy, right? And they could tell the exact same story in New Hope, but with these characters and make it new but old. You know what I mean? That's the way I feel like they're gonna go. Purgles will not show up 15 to 30 years again. So they're telling us that they're stuck. They're stuck on that planet until the Purgles come back. That's why I say they're going to use the World Between Worlds. If you guys watch the Bad Batch is great. You know how many people watch the Bad Batch? You know how many people watch the Bad Batch? Let me show you how many people watch the Bad Batch. Season 2, Bad Batch. Okay. 73,000 homes watched the Bad Batch Season 2. Climbing to 77,000 8 episodes later. That's terrible. Like the Clone Wars and Rebels, I think Rebels only had like 2 million people watch it. 2 million. Okay. There's nobody watching Star Wars, man. Do you know that this is one of the lowest rating shows? Ahsoka is one of the lowest rating shows, right? So who's liking this? And when I mean who's liking this, I'm not saying if you like it. Like, I'm talking about the masses. You're making someone that the smallest percentage of people are liking what you're doing. You abandon basically the whole entire thing. Okay? Who's watching it? The only reason that most of us watch it is because we still have hope that they're going to change it, but they're not. There's no changing this. It's going to 7, 8, 9. That's it. Also, a lot of people watch the Tales of the Jedi. You might think there's a lot of people that watched it. I don't think there is. I don't think there is. You can't even look up viewership. Here's how you know a show is doing well. Okay. Was anyone talking about Tales of the Jedi? If you're following a channel or someone or a YouTube channel, then yeah, they're talking about it. But when Game of Thrones came out and people loved that show, everyone was talking about it. Everybody. Okay? No one's talking about Bad Batch. No one's talking about Tales. Okay? Nobody's talking about Ahsoka. Nobody. If it was a hit, you wouldn't be able to turn anywhere without seeing something about it. It's a hit for you, Jesse, because you like it. And the other people that like Star Wars are looking to find stuff they like, but the majority is not watching this stuff. Anybody, and I mean this, and this is not an insult to anybody, anybody that thinks that this is popular, or Obi-Wan was popular, or Mando was popular, think about how many people talked about Mando Season 1. How many people talked about Mando Season 3? Do you see the difference? Mando Season 1 was off the charts. Everybody talked about it. It was the savior of Star Wars. How easy is it to say that there's no books, references, and reasons why they're so they can do whatever? They can just subvert your expectations. Yeah. Come out with high quality and stagger the shows more. I don't even think at this point they can stagger it. They have to try to get as much product out as possible because Disney Plus had no content when it first came out. This is why they pumped out so many shows when they did. Because they have to get them. They have to put stuff on there. It's frustrating, man. I'm told to watch Andor, but I have no reason to watch Andor. If I want to watch a good show, I guess I could watch it. Everyone says it's a good show, but no one's talking about it. No one's talking about it. Because no one watched it. And the people that did watch it say it's a good show, but no one watched it. Person of Interest is a good show. I watched it. It was great. I bet it was. But I have no interest. I watch Star Wars. I watch Star Wars because I'll admit, Force characters. I watch Star Wars for lightsabers and Jedi and the politics that go on with that. I honestly don't care. Right? I think Rogue One's a great movie, but Rogue One sticks out like a sore thumb. Great movie. But everyone that watches Rogue One remembers one fucking thing about Rogue One. Oh, I'm sorry, two things. You remember what's his name's character, the monk, okay? That's not a Jedi, but using the Force. And you remember the last 3 minutes of the movie where Darth Vader destroys the entire thing leading up to New Hope. Right? That's what people remember of Rogue One. Okay? Rogue One is a good movie. Now, if Rogue One and all the other movies were made like Rogue One, I think Star Wars would be phenomenal. Right? If you make New Hope like Rogue One style, like the film, the grittiness of it, make it more real, I think that'd be great. Think about if 7, 8, 9 didn't come out. If 7, 8, and 9 never happened, and then all of a sudden we're watching this, okay? If you watch Return of the Jedi and then all of a sudden you start watching Mando, and then you start piecing the things together, then you see Luke in Mando, you're like, holy shit, right? And then, yeah, like, why aren't we having a show of the adventures of Luke Skywalker? Adventures of Luke Skywalker, leading up to him trying to find, right, the character of Grogu instead of Mando finding Grogu, right? Why didn't we have a show of just Luke Skywalker and R2-D2 going on adventures trying to find pieces and stuff? Why do I have to play Star Wars Battlefront 2 single player to go do that? His CGI face would be too costly. I mean, they literally can just recast him. There's they could have got Sebastian to play him, right? They could have got Sebastian to play him. They don't have to CGI his face. If it's the story's written well, it's okay that Mark Hamill is not Luke anymore, right? Because the character is Luke Skywalker. Mark Hamill is not Luke. This is why I just don't understand. I'm very frustrated. All right. I think that'll do it. I think I vented enough. I love how IGN gave it like a fucking 9. I'm just like, I don't understand. I don't understand. The majority of the people are not watching it, and the people that do watch it give it like 9s and 10s. And I'm like, what are you watching? And I'm not even nitpicking, man. I'm not nitpicking. There's literally plot armor everywhere that ruins the show for me. And now there's Loki season 2. I don't even know if I want to even jump into that. When did the last time I watched it? 2 years ago? I really appreciate your thoughts on Star Wars and really enjoy it. You enjoy the show. I'm glad you enjoy the show, right? I mean, I wish I could enjoy the show like other people. Yeah, I don't know if I want to do these more or do more stuff on this channel. I wanted to put this on the other channel, but YouTube doesn't like me doing stuff like this on the gaming channel or whatever. I just want to make my other channel just like the everything channel, but that's YouTube suicide. Not that I'm making light of suicide in any way, shape, or form. 30, everyone is saying that Loki season 2 is really good. No one's saying it's bad. You're looking in the wrong corners, Critter. I've seen I've seen bad things already about it. Oh, here's 2 things. I want to show you 2 things, right? Before we go. It'll be like another 20 minutes, right? I posted this earlier in our channel, right? This is from Neurotic. Okay? I posted this in our Star Wars section. It's just it's the front part. It's the front part, right? I want to show you this. Okay? This is edited, obviously, but this capulates. I took the clip of this, right? This capulates exactly what's happening to me right now in Star Wars, right?
The order.
Oh, hold on.
Do you miss it? The order.
I miss the idea of it. But not the truth. The weakness. There was no future there. One must destroy in order to create.
We have to prepare for the worst. And hope for the best.
That's it, right? That encapsulates everything that's I'm feeling about Star Wars. Okay. Encapsulates. I'm tired. Let me get one more thing. I got one more thing to show you. One more thing to show you. All right, let me bring this up. Okay, this is from Screen Crush. I like Screen Crush, right? He brings me back down to earth because he's a very positive person. Okay, very positive person, and he talks about Star Wars in a positive way, but he also criticizes it where criticism's needed, right? So I want to show you this, and this is his theory about what's happened with Ezra. Okay.
Follow Colton and Heather on all their socials. They're down below. Couldn't do it without you. Thanks very much. So here's where I think all this is going to lead up to. The big question I have after this series is, since Ezra has now been introduced to the main Star Wars galaxy, how does that impact the journey of Luke Skywalker and the new Jedi Temple? Luke is supposed to be the last Jedi. Luke told him so.
When gone am I, the last of the Jedi will you be?
And he also said,
Pass on what you have learned.
And we don't know much about Luke's journey post-Return of the Jedi, other than like he's gathering Force artifacts. In the comics, we see him recover branches from the Jedi tree. In the game Battlefront, we see him recover a compass and some books. And now we see him starting in the Book of Boba Fett, the new Jedi Temple. So what happens when a much more powerful, much more experienced Jedi enters the chat? I have to think that Luke is going to be thrilled about this. He now has someone to help him teach, someone who has had more thorough, more personal training than he has. And maybe Ezra is a teeny bit resentful that Luke was the Jedi Rebel hero instead of him. I mean, this is an on-screen meeting that I really want to see, so it's probably going to happen off-screen like Luke and Ahsoka meeting.
I'm an old friend of the family.
So Luke has finally found an equal, someone to help him build a Jedi Order. But what I'm most excited for is what I think is going to be the best part of the Dave Filoni movie, Ezra's death. Princess Leia, what? Dude, Ezra has to die. He just does. He has
to die.
to die. Sorry, it is the only thing that makes sense. Luke's Jedi Order is a failure. I mean, if Ezra had been there, I have to believe they would have succeeded. Ezra's return is going to be seen as a new beginning for the galaxy. It's going to stabilize Luke's Jedi Temple, and we know that Luke's temple is cursed. We know how it's going to end. So I think that his new temple has to begin with a gut punch of Ezra's death. Like, personally, I think the most interesting story here would be if Snoke or Palpatine or whoever influenced Ezra, preyed on his jealousies, and Ezra tried to take Luke's pupils for himself, and then Luke had to put him down. And this would also set a precedent for Luke's indecision in the Last Jedi flashbacks.
For the briefest moment of pure instinct, I thought I could stop it. It passed like a fleeting shadow.
You remember, like, when he sensed the darkness in Kylo Ren and he thought about killing his own nephew. So if Luke had already been forced to kill one member of his temple, Ezra, then it makes more sense that it would even occur to him to kill his own flesh and blood. Ezra could go from undermining Luke Skywalker's story to reinforcing that story. But I'm guessing that instead they'll write some plot hole where he enters the world between worlds and then exits just in time for the Rey trilogy, because a lot of Dave Filoni characters are invincible because of plot armor.
Plot armor.
Well, guys,
right? So there you go. Right? What he says, hey, he's got to die. Unless they don't give a shit. And if they don't give a shit, then it doesn't matter. Because then it's like Jedi just coming out of the woodwork. Everyone's a Jedi. You're a Jedi. It's like Oprah Winfrey handing out lightsabers and Force abilities. You're a Jedi. You're a Jedi. You're a Jedi. You're a Jedi. Everyone's a Jedi. Luke's like, I gotta train new artists. No, wait, whoa, look at all these Jedi just came out of nowhere. Ahsoka either has to die, or maybe she doesn't die. Right, Gritter? Maybe she does exactly what Obi-Wan does and just transforms herself into a Force ghost. I mean, it's dead, but is she dead? Are they dead? Right? They can still interact with the world. No, the scene. Do not expect. I do not accept that he'll try to redeem Darth Vader's slaughter countless beings. But think about killing his nephew. He had no kill count. Oh, you don't think he kills? Well, he might not kill him. He might not kill him, but Ezra has to die. See, and here we are. Here we go again. You know why we love Marvel so much? Because we can speculate and try to figure out and what we think is going to happen, and that's what fans do. And this is what we do with Star Wars as well. We try to speculate on what's going to happen, but we all get fucking disappointed. The worst part, no matter what happens, it all leads to 7, 8, and 9. 7, 8, and 9 is absolute horrendous. But here's the good part. Some of these shows are just as bad, if not worse, than what's it called? 7, 8, and 9. I showed this the other day. I had a conversation with Akuta Papa, right? And he was saying that he doesn't find it so bad, and that he likes and this is not in any way or form making fun of him in any way, shape, or form. We were having a conversation. It's public in the Star Wars talk section. Okay. And he brought up the Vespas, right? The Vespas. And said that the Vespas in Boba Fett, he didn't mind it, right? He didn't mind it. And I was like, what do you mean? I was like, they were like terrible. I was like, the whole thing about the Vespas, if you guys don't remember the Vespas, it's these things, okay? These blue and red and green things here, right? And I'm like, this doesn't fit in the Star Wars universe. And this is the major problem with people that are working on Star Wars, okay? They don't know what they're doing. They don't fit inside the world. They try to force something to be in the world, right? Look at this, okay? These are all things that were on desert planets, right? There's the bikers. There's Jabba's thing. There's the Jawas. There's Luke's vehicle. What do they all have in condom? In condom. What do they all have in condom? What do they all have in common, right? They're all beat up, right? They're all beat up to hell because the sun and the desert destroys vehicles. But yet, you have these things that are like mint condition. Okay? They don't fit inside the world of Star Wars, right? So much so, this is what they should look like. Okay? This is what it should look like in Star Wars. Right? The Vespas shouldn't have been, right? Shouldn't have been this. Okay? 100% should have been this. And it's little details like that, right? And why people love Star Wars is because of the world building. Lucas built the world building because just like Tolkien built the world building inside Lord of the Rings, okay, that's what makes Lord of the Rings really good. That's what makes Star Wars really good. They think of every little intricate detail to make it good in the realm. Okay? And yet they did that, and people are like, oh, I really like those. And I'm like, that is not Star Wars. It's not Star Wars. I'm not mad that they put Vespas in the thing. I'm mad that they put Vespas in the thing that didn't look anything like it was part of the world of Star Wars. It's 11:44. I might jump on for like one mission or so, Sarge. So that's my disappointment. I appreciate everyone coming out and hanging out with us tonight. I know it's just a very few amount of people. This is like a channel off to the side, right? This basically, I could put this on Disney Plus because no one's watching it anyway. So I do appreciate everyone coming out and hanging out and chatting with me. We'll be back Monday for the on the regular channel, 30NSG, for some gaming news or just news in general. And then we'll be back for more podcasts and gameplay next week. Appreciate it very much. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for hanging out. Hit the subscribe button on this channel. It's a very kind of side project that, there's no monetization on this. There's nothing over here. So hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, help us out here. Appreciate it very much. And I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.